goes into the next part of we do have a few questions regarding like when or how would it be for you to go international with this business? We have some questions about Ireland, New Zealand.
I know. I was just looking at Tony's question. So what's funny is I deal with many of those calls. So, and John, we're up to a dozen countries, just so you know, a little north of a dozen. So we just had Romania come to us with $90 billion fund and saying, pick us first. And just like Tony says, pick Ireland, but it's no different than Montana and the Dakotas. We've got it throughout Central America, West Africa, Europe. It's almost, it's going to be interesting. So part of my background was with one of my big customers was GE Energy. So I was in the energy space, international, and then Amazon and some other Fortune 500. So I've been on weekly calls with them, starting a future cast. And so I'm thinking later this year, we're building an international team, just like you guys built an advisory board, a group of advisors that are on board that have expanded factories, locations, buildings, technology, international. And then I think it's going to be, we're going to pick the one, just like here, we got to get our first 5 factories up, then the next 30 are going to be much easier. Well, once we do that, we'll have a real good feel to what an international factory looks like, but we have to pick that first country. And so that's what I'm starting to collect data on and have the smart people determine, well, who do we pick first? Who needs it? What makes the most sense? And, I don't want to say we're going to pick an easy one, but we need to start somewhere. So we have to think about labor, materials, accessibility, ports. There's all kinds of factors that go into that. So, while we look at this, we've got the UK coming at us, Ireland, I don't think there's not a need. I think now what's going to happen is because of the way we've educated the marketplace, it's going to bring this even more so to the forefront, because we've never marketed overseas, but we've got a huge international presence without spending a dime. It's gone viral. So I think we've created enough of an awareness where we've helped our competitors, and there's enough business for everyone because there's different products that are needed out there. Hope that makes sense.
Have too much business, right? That's wonderful.
Well, I mean, and it's good and it's bad because now we know even more than I've ever imagined. I mean, we talked to FEMA about all these cities. Look in the US how we've had natural disasters, and they know that modular is stronger. We can withstand 200-mile-an-hour winds, and just think of the strength that John was just talking about in the foundation and everything else. They want us to build in disaster zone areas just in the US. That could keep us busy for a long time. So there's a need out there, a global need. And to your point, Jared, we need your generation to be on board with it and to continue to educate further on down the road. And that's why we're working hard, not just to educate on the surface level, but when we go into a town, like I was just into Jacksonville at the groundbreaking, and I met with everybody in the whole county, and we're working to integrate trades back into the schools. So we're doing an online academy that we're building out, but I have a true mission to make sure that we get those trades of modular construction, the solar, the renewable energy, smart tech. We need to get that into the schools, even at the high school level. It's needed.
Yeah, I'm seeing all those questions come through, and I saw the one come up about Ireland a few times, and hey, 2023 is our year. We're going to finish building out these 5 factories that we're building now this year, and then we've got another 10 to break ground on in the US next year. But we're absolutely going to pick a few factories international to do next year. So as far as the person that's commenting from Ireland, we would love to hear from you. It sounds like you said they've got money, incentives, that's all it takes. If they've got land that is zoned, they can fast track the permits. We're ready to start. It's going to take a little planning. So, we're ready to get in and start talking to those folks. And also saw or about your comment earlier about modular construction. It's been around since the beginning of time almost. I mean, we saw a picture the other day of one way back when, that I don't even know when that was from, but even in California, a lot of these factories opened in the 50s and 60s. The problem is, you know, they're still running the same way they were in the 50s and 60s, and most of them build a manufactured home product, which is not modular. It's built out of inferior building materials. They don't have the same strength and as a traditional home like ours do. So, you know, the difference was, you know, transitioning to an old school volumetric type modular construction, and then adding in the technology, adding in the systems within the factory to create efficiency, technology, but without going overboard.